Video is going to be kind of odd because it's about something that's not able to be pinned down and not able to have a real origin story to. So people, as people do, have decided to appropriate it for whatever they want to, all the way from turning it into something it can absolutely never be to making it into something else it could never be. We're going to be doing this video about the symbol that you're seeing on the screen. There's a lot of symbology going on in these images, but both this individual and this individual are holding what appears to be a looped object that goes down to a point and then turns into what looks like an obviously spreading base on this one, and on this one a straight line, and has two flared out pieces here. And over here we see them doing the same thing with one that is specifically colored in on the inside of where their hands would go in these two, and it seems to be being brought up to the nose or mouth of the individual in the center. Now this symbol, by the time this image is created, was 1,000 years old or more. I don't know if you know this, but there's symbols, words, expressions, and even languages that go dead in mere decades as far as finding out what they really meant. We have figures of speech and even bits of language that we don't know the story for. For instance, the expression OK as the initials letter O and letter K has an ambiguous meaning. And you would think it couldn't, and it means something different than it does now, back in the past. Just like the word fantastic or unbelievable all had very different meanings in the past. They now mean something else. Okay? So obviously in a period of 1,000 years, the individuals that were doing maybe this work didn't know what the symbol meant. That also means you don't. Normally I do videos about the origin story of something and about how you can find out what the original intent was, but I always mention that the meaning of something changes over time, and we don't have to be bound by original meanings, but we shouldn't ignore the original meaning of words, phrases, or symbols, or anything else. All right? And we sure as hell shouldn't just lie about it, because it becomes some fodder for our little mythology and stories. The fact that this is based in mythology, unquestionably, makes it a little bit hard for me to say that, but I've already done so. And by the way, yes, these are representations of flowers. That's correct, or is it? Considering the tassels hanging from the top may have the same meaning. By the way, I want to point out geometric shapes are reused by every single culture, everywhere. The teardrop shape, which is at the top of this, is used a lot. Now we're going to look at the oldest depiction I can find for that symbol. It's this. This is the oldest physical object and or the oldest depiction of that shape that's in any form that we have the ability to see as maybe being, quote, original. This is from 3000 BC. This is an object at a museum, the one on the right, obviously, that is 5,000 years old as of today or more. It could be from 3100 BC. Not 300 BC, 3100. Now, the reason I say it that way is people talk about the 3rd century or the 30th century BC. They talk about the 20th century and we're in the 21st century. I object to this on the basis that it causes a level of confusion in people. Yes, I know some of you are saying, but you just have to get good, or some other excuse. No, it's 3000 BC or 3100 BC, or it could be 2900 BC. The point is, it's a long time ago, all right? All right. But this is the oldest one we know of that shows at least something that looks like it. We have a round, not teardrop shape here. We have what looks to be, but it looks like a bow. It has all the indications of being a depiction of a cloth bow stylized for this. This is done in stone. They don't mention what kind of stone on the page I found. I don't care which one it is. But this is a depiction of a ribbon. That doesn't mean it's the original source. Again, by then it could have been hundreds of thousands of years old too. This is just the oldest example. Also, it's held in by a set of hands that go to the elbows, and then go together without a body in the middle, representing a particular character. I'll bring that up at the end, but this part here forms one container. This is for liquids. They had analyzed it, found out it was used for something. These flow into these openings on each side of this circle part at the top, and each of these, I'm going to call them a ribbon representation, this one here and this one here, have openings that lead in so that you could put 1, 2, 3, 4 things, liquids in here, presumably, and they would mix together at this point and pour out. 1, 2, 3, 4 separate things. This is a mixer of 4 elements or 4 materials or 4 items. But the one that's on the outside would immediately mix with this one and vice versa. So would these, unless you use some sort of separator like a cork to cause them to suddenly mix. All right, let's go forward. This is a depiction from the side showing the hole here. Basically, if you want to know, this is made out of stone. I'm very sure I know how it was done, and it was done by very slow drilling. Now, I want to bring up something before I listen to the ancient aliens assholes in the comment section. Yes, if you work hard enough, you can punch your way through diamond. Go watch a Doctor Who episode. Some of you know what I just said. A hard piece of stone is not impossible to drill through using a softer material. It just takes longer, and you have to know that you can just let the grindings from the harder material work as the drilling material. Sandpaper is made from paper and sand, but it can grind steel. Shut up. Anyway, here we go. Again, here's the central area, and this is the mixing area from the outside to the central area. And this is, I'll call it the right and the left area. But as soon as you pour anything into these, they would mix together in here. And if you did it just right, it would not mix completely together. You could put 3, 4 different colored fluids in here and then have them mix and pour out here. It's a rather elegantly made piece. And having this symbolic item of 2 arms that join together with a crossbar at the elbows, also showing you physically how you should hold and pour it so you wouldn't do it the wrong way. Kind of a nice bit of integration there. This is good user interface design. And again, you can see the hole. And you can also see how this is cut. Either that was those angles and that kind of sharp angle there was done because it had to be, because it was the only way to drill it, or B, it's really, really trying hard to represent some kind of ribbon tied in a particular knot. And there we see it from another angle with slightly different light color. And again, there's a hole there, even though it's really hard to see, and this obviously has a pathway in, and there's that edge. I can tell you from experience doing woodworking and actually working with pottery and needing to drill holes and clean things up, that even on wood or pottery, doing these kind of thin walls is a screaming pain in the rump. This is probably iteration 12. The others were broken with somebody cussing in various languages at the same time and begging the world to just make it stop. But yeah, this is a depiction of a ribbon. That doesn't mean it's the original. That just means it's the depiction here. Now we're going to do the arm-shaped thing here. Excuse me. And also it shows a leaf next to it. I'm not sure if I want to integrate anything into it. I'm not going to talk about it. For all I know, it is or is not part of this. Let's move on. The Ka symbol is a hieroglyph representing 2 arms joining together at what would be the shoulder joints, forming the missing body and just being the hands and arms. You could say that this could symbolize, if I was interpreting it, not power or life or self, but meaning action. Because it's our arms and our hands that do most of our actions that separate us, kind of, from most, not all, of the animal kingdom. See also monkeys and even chipmunks and squirrels having false thumbs. So anyway, why have I done this video? I've seen people that I like and also don't like misappropriate this. I'm not talking about cultural appropriation. I'm talking about misappropriating it. Deciding that they're going to put this in where it can't go. But we don't know the right place for it. So I think everybody should be given a pass with their creative liberties. If you, however, claim to be the one who knows the true, real origin for this and know what you're talking about, please understand you're full of it, and even the people at the time did not know where it came from. This is an old symbol that was around at the time, being depicted being held through this opening here, or it being used as the bottom of the loop on a chain, sometimes around the waist or the neck. There's no right or wrong way to do this because there's no true origin story for it. And this is, again, it's the oldest version that we can see that's very likely the same symbol. And yeah, we don't know the origin story, but that flaring at the ends of the 3 points or 3 stick shapes being very consistent and it being a loop strongly suggests this is some sort of knot. But again, if you're not paying attention, maybe you should, even though it's depicted that way, it might be a depiction of an impossible knot, an impossible ribbon that you cannot tie, yet seems or should be there. This could be an example of an anomaly in someone's mind of how would you tie a knot like this. It might have become a symbol like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? By the way, watch the Bart Simpson iteration of that. But yeah, that's the entire video. I'm going to have links to all of this stuff here. You can interpret it any way you want to, but claiming you're the one who knows the interpretation, you're wrong. And I'm sticking by that. And so am I. I'm wrong. And at the time when they did some of these works and hieroglyphics, they decided what it meant for them that century. By the way, I'm in the United States. This is a country that's only existed as this country, this time, this empire, for about 200 years, a little over 200 years. And we're nothing compared to a population that ran most of South America for a lot longer. And sure as hell nothing compared to 5,000 or 6,000 years old equipment and ideas and symbols that were done by a population that were already sold, that we're not really even sure truly when it all began. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Bye.